Sup guys? If you would like to one-shot Kawakaze meta but don't have Eldridge retrofit for some reason, you have come to the right place. After some experimentation, I have settled on this fleet here that worked in 8 out of 10 tries. The general idea of the fleet is to have Napoli survive for as long as possible, and then for Laffy to last until the end with her built-in Undying skill, plus the Eagle Union Elite Damage Control Protocol to add 8 more seconds. In the last slot of the Vanguard, Trafalgar is by far the best option for increasing damage while being tanky enough to survive most of the time. The main fleet consists of the same ships that have been effective for this fight in general. You need to use Rume for her 30% slow, which when stacked with Trafalgar's 15% slow is the equivalent of an approximately 40% slow, which is good enough for the battleships to land their attacks, but still not quite as good as Eldridge with 60% slow by herself. There's other potential options like Soyuz, but the timings are more difficult to manage with 3 battleships, and Soyuz also doesn't have the screen clear that comes with airstrikes. Now, that's about where the good news ends. Obviously, this fleet isn't nearly as good as a fleet with Eldridge in terms of consistency. Despite the 8 successes in 10 tries, every run looks as a result at the end. I could see it going for something like 5 successes in the next 10 tries or something, but at least it works some of the time. While you have this gigantic pool of ships to choose from while using Eldridge. Without her, I think these 6 ships are pretty much fixed with very little to no wiggle room. There's no main tank that's going to last longer than Napoli, no Vanguard that can survive on no HP for as long as Laffy, no other evasion rate debuffer that can survive, even in the rear slot, as well as Trafalgar, no main fleet that's going to dish out more damage than Lion and Alsace, or provide a small slow with good timing, while also putting up respectable damage like Rume. So while this fleet doesn't require Eldridge necessarily, it instead requires all 6 of these ships with this exact level of investment, including equipment, fleet tech, oath, and so on, which is arguably more difficult than just having Eldridge. Maybe you can experiment with Kearsarge and Yorktown over Lion and Alsace, which would result in lower damage output, but the screen clears from their airstrikes might let you get away with a squishier, higher damaging option than Trafalgar in the Vanguard, but I'm skeptical. I hope you can now see why I placed Eldridge as highly as I did on my Vanguard tier list, while placing other tanks relatively lower compared to other tier lists. Now, Eldridge's retrofit was released for the global server's anniversary last year, which is coming up soon in August, so it would be reasonable to assume that the retrofit item will rerun in a couple months. Please make sure to pick it up this time. I hope that in a year I won't be seeing people asking for substitutions for Trafalgar because they read somewhere that she's a so-called mediocre ship. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.